What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm just gonna take you along for a ride of what my week looks like this week. I am right now in my car. It's like 8:40 something. I'm on my way to my personal training session. I have personal training Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 a.m. and I'm already running late. And yeah, so let me take you along there. This week, what we have in store is you're actually gonna be meeting a few people on my team. I'm meeting my team in person for the next 3 days, and I'm gonna take you behind the scenes of what our meetings look like, what we're gonna be talking about, and everything like that. So let's get the day started. It is just pissing rain today. It looks terrible, so sad. Summer is officially dead and gone. Hi Andrew.
How's it going, Vanessa?
What are we working on today?
Oh, we are working on Vanessa's absolute favorite, her glutes.
My
Plus, a whole lot of cardio and a whole lot of plyometrics.
Okay.
With a lot of holds. She loves isometric holds.
Okay, let's get started.
Right, so we got Vanessa on deck. She's about to do some dumbbell deadlifts. Okay, she's got 65, you can't see it. All right, let's go for it. She's gonna go 6 to 8 reps. First, she's gonna start out from the ground up. Maintain external rotation of the hips, pause. Breathe in, drive the ribs in again. Exhale, push up nice and slow, push up. Atta go, Vanessa, hold that right there. Chin is in, hold right there, don't move. Push up, good. We're going to do a hip extension movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, control it, 6. She's not gonna swing it, 7, and done. Good job, Vanessa. When people say that health is wealth, it is absolutely true, because what would happen if you're in an experience of a world where all you were was stressed out and anxious? Yes, you'll be able to somehow survive, but you won't be able to thrive in which you were designed to. And so when you start to look after yourself, when you start to really look after your health, ultimately you will attract more wealth, because if you understand, money is simply energy. And the more capacity that you can create within yourself, the more that you invest in yourself, the more value you create within yourself, the more value you can offer to others. Because ultimately what you pour into this world is what you have within. And if you have something that is in dis-ease within yourself, then that's all you're gonna pour into this world.
Take care of your body so you can take care of your business.
Hey! I like that.
All right, so as you can see, that was a very intense workout with Andrew. Working with Andrew and just like doing or prioritizing fitness has really changed the game for me personally. And I guess also professionally, because it's just nice that I can focus better when I'm working on my business. I used to feel super sluggish every day, and now just like slotting in an hour in the morning to work out and then an hour in the evening as well. So I work out 5 times a week now. I work out Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Has really helped me a lot with just feeling better about myself, feeling like I have more energy, getting better sleep. My sleep is amazing. I dream vivid dreams every night. I also got a weighted blanket. That also has been a game changer for me. But yeah, I just wanted to show that part of my life. It's not always just about business. There's definitely other things like self-care and health that are super important in running a business, especially as you scale up. It's even more important to do that. But anyways, right now I'm gonna go to a coffee shop and meet up with my operations manager, Alice, to go over some strategy work for the business. I find that we don't often have a lot of time to talk about strategy, because day in, day out, we're always just doing execution and tactical work and all that. And so, yeah, I'll take you guys along the ride on my meeting with Alice. Hello! This is Alice, our operations manager. Oh my gosh, every time we meet, it's always like pouring rain. This is the coffee shop we're staying at. So what we are doing today, or one of the things that we're doing today, is over the last 2 weeks, Alice and I have been doing this time study. This is something that one of my new mentors, Alex Charfin, wants us to do. And in this time study, what we do is we essentially record every 15 minutes of our day. So this is kind of what it looks like, of me just recording what I'm doing every 15 minutes of the day. Afterwards, what you are supposed to do is you need to figure out which tasks are strategic, tactical, self-care, and which ones are reserved for family. You want to tally up all the hours and what percentage of your time is spent on what category. And so, for example, if I'm the CEO and I'm spending way too much time on tactical work and not strategic work, then it's something that I need to reprioritize and just reshuffle. What Alice and I are doing later today is we are going to compare our timesheets like this. As you can see, I do some TikTok stuff there. But what we're gonna do is we are gonna compare these timesheets and figure out not just how we're spending our time, but also figure out who we need to hire to free up our time and all of that. So just wanted to show you guys the behind the scenes of what we're working on. So what Alice is doing right now is she is in a meeting with another operations manager at another company, just swapping notes and sharing good ideas and masterminding, which I definitely encourage, which is awesome. I often get a lot of questions about my team and who does what. So Alice is our operations manager, and what she is in charge of doing is basically turning my big vision, because I'm a visionary and I hate systems, I'm not organized. She's basically good at all the things I'm really bad at, but she takes my big vision that I have for the company, the goals that I want to accomplish as a team, and she makes it happen. She turns those goals into a timeline. She also assigns tasks to other people on the team, so I'm not responsible of saying who does what. She is. So all I'm responsible for is telling her, hey, this is where I want our boat to steer in. This is the direction that we want to go. And then she puts all the components in the boat in order for it to go that direction. Some of her KPIs, or some of her success metrics, basically how I know that she's doing a good job, is whether or not we hit our deadlines for our projects. So timeline accuracy, employee retention, because everyone reports under her, at least right now in our really small business, everyone still reports under her. She's also in charge of overseeing our profit, right? And so what that means is not only does she need to pay attention to our revenue, but she also needs to pay attention to our expenses. So if I'm going crazy and I'm telling Alice I want to spend $100,000 on Facebook ads, but we don't even have that money, or we can't afford it, she is responsible for literally putting her foot down and telling, no, Vanessa, have you looked at the budget? And so that's kind of the things that she is responsible for. Whenever we have a launch, she's in charge of putting that into an actual plan inside our project management system and really assigning all those tasks to the team, making sure things are done. So she keeps everyone accountable. She's basically like the eyes and ears of my business while I create content, while I engage with you guys, while I do all the front end stuff. She's really in charge of doing all the back end stuff. So that's what Alice does. She is awesome. You guys asked me, like, how do I find people to hire? So Alice specifically was actually referred to me by a mutual friend. Alice and I actually went to school together. We went to the same university. I think she's like a year younger than me or something. And she has been an awesome addition to the company. And yeah, it's been game changing since hiring Alice, and it is absolutely awesome. Hey guys, so yesterday my camera died and I wasn't able to capture the rest of the meeting, but today I'm at a different coffee shop with Alice. This is our client success specialist, Kylie. If any of you guys have ever emailed us, you likely have spoken to Kylie before. And then of course, this is Alice, who you met yesterday, our operations manager. Fun fact, this is actually the first time that I've met Kylie in real life. So this is the first time we're co-working together in real life, which is really exciting. But anyways, to catch you guys up on what we did yesterday, so I talked about how Alice and we were tracking what we were doing every 15 minutes for the last 2 weeks, and we were able to actually tally up all the things that we were working on to really figure out who we need to hire for the future, what we need to take off our plates, and all of that. So let me show you some of the results of that meeting. So this was the results of my time study, and as you can see, it looks decently balanced and all of that, but what I found was a lot of the tactical work that I'm working on was mostly reviewing YouTube videos, content, and all that stuff, and we kind of want to hire someone to help take that off my plate, especially reviewing videos with our video editor. I feel like that could be something that someone else can do and all of that. So that's kind of what we worked on, and as a result of that, this is our current org structure. There's not that many people in it, and so based off of everything that we discussed with Alice yesterday, we're thinking of moving towards this direction and just hiring more people to support the growth that we're thinking of doing. So this is kind of a little preview of what that looks like. It's not finalized, but just to give you guys an idea of what we do behind the scenes. On top of that, we realized that a lot of my time was also spent doing emails, paying invoices, and just really, really small things. So we were also thinking of eventually in our business hiring an executive assistant to help offload some of that. So just so that you guys know, for you guys can definitely consider doing this type of exercise where you really record yourself doing your tasks every 15, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. Record all the tasks that you're doing and actually have a high level understanding of where you're spending your time and what you can outsource so that you can focus on doing the things that truly matter in your business, especially if you are in a CEO position. So that's kind of what Alice and I worked on yesterday, was just building out and figuring out who we need to hire in the future to offload some of the tasks and also to maintain and continue the growth of the company. On top of that, we did some fun spreadsheet work, just tracking all of our metrics from this year actually. All the new clients, everything that we need, our margins, all of that stuff is what Alice and I worked on yesterday. Now what we're going to be working on today is, right now we're just doing work session to wrap some stuff up that we generally do in the business, and then afterwards Kylie, myself, and Alice, we're going to start brainstorming on what we want 2021 to look like. So what we want the next year to look like, how we're going to continue growing, what is our growth plan, us communicating that to Kylie, and then brainstorming on how we're going to continue growing as a team, what projects we should be focusing on each quarter. So that's kind of the focus of today's meeting. So we're coming up with a client-centric mission. So we really want something that can rally the entire team behind this, because it's supposed to be something super motivational that isn't just about us as a company, but it's about the people that we serve. So the steps to creating client-centric missions start with who you want to help. So what is the profile of this person that you're trying to help? The change you want to make for them. So what is the end result going to be if you're successful? And then how will you help them? Like, what are the tools you need? Or what are the tools you're going to provide them with? And then at the end, you want to list out the things that will indicate your success. So I will know I'm successful when ... So it's a great framework, and it's different than your traditional mission statement, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah! And then Kylie, our client success specialist, who talks to our students and our clients all the time, she's gonna definitely give us some ideas on how we can create this mission statement that our whole team can rally behind. And as you saw from PowerPoint that I showed you, like, we're planning to hire a lot more people in our company, and we realized that there's more than just saying, oh, we want to help people turn their followers into clients. We actually want to create a mission statement that everyone on the team can just feel inspired by and feel motivated by, and gives them a reason to want to do well at our company and to want to continue helping you guys succeed, whether that's through our free content or paid content or any other things that we plan to do in the future. So that's what we're working on today. And then afterwards, we are going to do more like number stuff and whatever, but we're going to kick off with creating this mission first. So right now what Alice is doing is she's walking through Kylie, our projected sales for next year, month by month. Whipping out the calculator. That's what an ops manager does. Okay. Good morning, guys. So today is day 3 of meeting my team in person. So yesterday you might have saw little snippets of what we did, but we essentially created our client-centric mission, basically our mission statement that we want to drive home to all of the new employees and our current employees that work for us in the company. That really helps us kind of ground ourselves to what the bigger picture is of what we're trying to do in our company. I walk through kind of the vision for next year, quarter by quarter, what we're thinking of doing in terms of marketing and sales. We also mapped out just the revenue goals that we want to hit next year, what we want to achieve, broke it down by quarter. And today's meeting, we are going to be breaking it down even more so that for Q1 already, we already have a plan and all of that, like an actual step-by-step plan, not just like, this is the idea of what Q1's supposed to look like. That's kind of what we did yesterday. Whereas today, we're going to be way more in-depth in terms of, okay, who on the team is responsible for what projects even need to be done, what are the outcomes that we're looking for, what are the metrics that we're going to be tracking to make sure that we do hit the goals that we're thinking of next year. Just all the really detailed stuff we're going to be going over today. Yesterday, I also walked through Kylie, just our org chart. So basically who we plan on hiring, and oh my gosh, we plan on hiring like a lot of people next year, which is pretty exciting. But that's because we need to have like full-time people to keep up with the growth of our company
company. And it's just so crazy. Like a year and a half ago, I just started my YouTube channel. I just launched my business, and I would have never ever thought that we would be growing this fast and that I'd even be in this position making these decisions and like having these type of meetings. So it's just insane how much your life can change in a short period of time if you stay focused and if you just take that leap of faith. For those of you who like followed me since the beginning, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for witnessing my journey unfolding. I mean, it's definitely uncomfortable every time we grow, but oftentimes I just have to like remind myself of how far we've come. Like I remember just posting this video of me sharing my journey of like quitting the 9-to-5, and that video I was so scared to even put on the internet, and now it's like a part of my personal brand and like all these things. It's just insane. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words right now of just like how much has changed in a short period of time. I feel like I just need to like go back on my old journal entries and like look back on like all the things that I wanted to accomplish, and realizing like, wow, like all the things that I wrote down in my journals, like I'm literally living it right now, which is just insane. So if you're watching this, really, like if there's something that you want to do, if you know that you can do more than what your current situation is, if you are in a corporate job right now, or if you are even in your own business and you're like, fuck, I hate doing what I'm doing. Like this isn't fun for me. I don't feel like my mind is in expansion. I don't feel like my body is in expansion. I don't feel like excited to get out of bed every day. Then change your situation, because I assure you, you cannot go wrong with getting yourself out of a shitty situation. And all it takes is making that one decision, that one choice. And I feel like your life is just comprised of decisions. You know, every day you're making decisions, you're making choices, and you can either choose to stay in the same position that you are right now, or you can choose to change that situation, find a new situation, and work towards a different outcome. I don't know, I'm being all passionate right now in the car, but I guess I'm just reflecting back on my own transformation and hoping that some of these good juju vibes can pass on to you guys. But anyways, I'm just in my car. I'm gonna go see the girls right now. I think I'm like 2 minutes late or something. So I'm gonna head out and show you the rest of our day.
All right, so this is day 3 of our work sesh, or in-person work sesh, day 2 with Kylie. Kylie is just doing her customer support work. This is our Slack channel. Kylie, what are you working on?
I am working on emailing some students back.
Yep.
Just every day.
She's emailing some students back. And then Alice and I, what are we working on?
So yesterday we came up with our annual objectives, and now we have to create something called an OTA. Pretty much a sheet that describes what the goals are, what types of key success metrics will result. Like, so what does success look like once we hit our annual objectives? And then
She's got all the papers.
oh, there's so much paper. And then writing down the steps we'll have to take to hit this final goal, and then assigning them to people. So it's just keeping everyone accountable.
Yes. Yes. Yesterday at our meeting, we set like annual goals for the year that we want to hit, and now we're breaking them down into quarters and figuring out like at the micro level what actually needs to happen with our team, who needs to do the projects, what projects are there, what are the priorities, and all of that. So that is what Alice and I are working on today, and then after we're done doing that, we were looking at doing an audit on our business and figuring out which areas of our business need the most help. So what are the 5 core functions again? I'll let Alice take it away.
Oh, I need to pause and actually go through my notes first.
She's going through the notes. Lead gen, lead nurture, lead conversion, delivery, resell, upsell, retention.
That's 5.
Okay, so basically what we're doing in this program, we're doing an audit on our business of these 5 things, and we're trying to rank how we're doing on this scorecard, and based on what needs the most work, I guess that's what we'll kind of prioritize. Yeah, that's basically what we're doing today. Okay, so we're saying our goodbyes. We did a lot today. What did we do today?
We did a giant discussion about annual objectives and how to prioritize for the year. We have no idea how long that takes, but sometimes you just gotta go slow to go fast later on.
Very motivating. Kylie, what did you think of today?
Today was amazing. We learned a lot, got lots of insight into the business, and we have a very good plan that I'm excited about.
Yes! I also like changed the plan like 3 times. So I had like multiple identity crises, and I walked out on Alice. I literally walked out because I was so frustrated. Not at her, but just in general. How did you feel when I walked out?
Yeah, scared, fearful, but I smiled.
Kylie, how did you feel when I walked out?
I just thought you needed a minute. I was gonna like pee.
Smile through it, that's all it is.
We're good now. So that was what we did today, but yeah. So I should probably explain why I walked out. So I'm a visionary. I'm the entrepreneur. I have a big vision for next year. I have all these plans and everything, all the outcomes that we want to hit, all these goals. And Alice is our operations manager. So her job is to make sure that we can actually implement it without burning people out and without causing chaos. And so we were clashing because I have a certain vision for next year and she was basically telling me we can't do that. And I was getting really frustrated. So I like actually walked out. We're totally fine now. Turns out that she was right. So Alice, if you're watching this, I'm so grateful for you. But that's kind of what happened. And that's why I hired Alice, is to kind of point out all the blind spots that I'm not seeing. And I wasn't seeing a lot of things that would break the business because I have such a big vision for the company and we can't get it all done in the year. And we just had to reprioritize, had to remove certain things from my vision, and we'll implement it in 2022. And that's not a big deal. But I just wanted to share because like as an entrepreneur, you have these big goals and you really need someone in your corner that's going to pull you back and say, no, that's not possible. Or if you do that, then other people are going to burn out or whatever. This is the negative impact and the consequences that come from having this big vision. So yeah, I wanted to explain that because that was really interesting when it happened.
All right, guys. So far you have seen kind of a little bit of the behind the scenes of what my week looked like. I mean, obviously my week typically doesn't look like that. So I definitely chose a more interesting week to start vlogging, but I really do hope that you got a little glimpse of the behind the scenes of how we're trying to rev up for next year, what happens behind the scenes with the team and everything. Obviously, I don't do that often with my team. That was actually the very first time that I saw, majority of our team members in person. We still have other team members that don't live in the same city as us, and unfortunately we weren't able to see them. And also I want to mention that I definitely don't want to take credit for a lot of the tools and processes that I mentioned in today's vlog. In fact, we actually recently invested in a new program, and this program is led by Alex Charfin. So I definitely want to shout him out because it has really opened my eyes and helped me structure my business better and goal set and do better project management with the team. And so here's one thing, because I definitely want to end this vlog with some actionable tips for you guys, and also maybe some things that might really benefit you, especially if you are in the starting stages of your business and you kind of want to forecast on like what your future could look like, because I feel like this would have been so helpful for me as I started my business and I started growing. But essentially in business, oftentimes we focus a lot on growth, and growth typically comprises of sales and marketing, right? And we're always focused on those two things. And that's why a lot of the courses, masterminds, group coaching programs, all those things are really centered around growth, sales and marketing. But sales and marketing can only take you so far. And eventually in your business, you're gonna realize you're gonna really need support in organizational development, in process management, in team building, all of that, because as your goals become bigger in your business, you cannot do it alone. You're gonna need to hire more and more people. And what I find is the more people that you hire, the more complex things are. It's not like when you're a solopreneur and you're like, I have an idea, I'm just gonna execute it right away. And nobody has to really care or keep tabs on me because I'm a solopreneur, I manage myself. Once you have a team and once you have more people on that team, things actually become a little bit slower. It's not as fast to go to market with something versus when you're more agile as an entrepreneur, or as a solopreneur, sorry, not an entrepreneur, solopreneur. You also have to realize that not everyone is gonna care about your business more than you do. It's really easy for you to roll up your sleeves and say, you know what, I'm gonna hold myself accountable to this and I'm gonna get this done. Whereas when you actually start growing your business, people are working for you now, and you need to build a culture and you need to set up your team for success so that they want to work for you and they want to work hard and smart for you, right? Ask yourself, why would someone want to leave their 9-to-5 to work for your company? You need to build a culture that makes them proud to work for you, that makes them motivated, makes them inspired. And your company also needs to have processes and systems to make sure your employees or contractors succeed. And I recently came across a post, I don't remember who posted it, but I recently came across a post and it was like, be the leader that you wish you had at your previous job. And I felt that that was so true because there's a reason why I left my 9-to-5. I thought that there was a lot of pressure on their employees and I was always stressed stressed all the time. I was super burnt out, and there wasn't a lot of support for employees, especially at the lower executional levels. And so what I realized is, wow, like now that I have my own business, it's really important for me to invest in the programs to help prevent that from happening. Now, of course, not every business is going to be perfect. And I know even in my business, there will be times where people probably don't like working for me, or maybe it's not a good culture fit, or maybe we have different values and different work habits and different goals and whatnot. But as a business and as a CEO, you need to try your best to invest in resources to help you become a better leader, to help set your team up for success, and seek mentors that have worked with other businesses and have helped build their infrastructures for success in order to scale up. Because again, as you scale up, you're going to need more people. As you have more people, you're going to need to really focus on your management and project management skills. And so that's kind of the stage that we're at in our business, and it's really exhilarating. It's really fun, but it's also very challenging. I find that this area of my business is probably more challenging than the sales and marketing side of things. Now, does that mean that I'll never invest in a sales and marketing program? No, like I will definitely still be investing and working with other people and masterminding and doing all those things where it relates to marketing and sales. But I just know that to get to the levels that we want to go to in business, I need to work on having better leadership skills. I need to work on running a tighter ship, having better processes, systems, documentation, all that stuff, especially as you prep your business to scale. So just wanted to mention that. And also, because I know a lot of people generally have questions for me about my team and who's on the team, who I hired when I started up, I actually created a timeline, a list of people that I hired in my first year of business as we scaled up to, I think the first year of my business, we made $500,000. And this year in 2020, we have more than 4x'd what we did last year. And now we're at 2 million cash collected and all that stuff. And so last year, as I went from zero to building a multiple six-figure business, let me walk you through the people that we hired in order. I usually have two timelines. The first timeline is when I had the intention to start a business, when I had the intention of working for myself. And that was July of 2018 when I started this YouTube channel. But I didn't actually launch my business. I didn't actually, tell people that I was open for business until January 2019. And so between July 2018 all the way up to about February or March of 2019, I was basically a solopreneur. I worked by myself. I did my own videos. I did my own newsletters. I did my own Instagram posts, just everything that you can think of, I did myself. And then in February, March, end of February, early March, that was when I hired my very first VA. And I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I needed support and I needed help. And that's where I actually found someone from my Facebook group. That I used to run a Facebook group called the Fearless Boss Network. Now it's called Turn Your Followers into Clients. But back then, my Facebook group was an open forum type of Facebook group. Everyone could post their questions inside, and it was just this really big community that we had grown. And someone who joined that Facebook group, and she still works for us today, she actually reached out and asked if I wanted help. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Yes, I do need help. And so I ended up paying her to help really manage that community. And because it was her first time being a VA and my first time working with someone, she was kind of like an assistant / community manager / graphic designer. We just kind of threw everything for her to work on because I just needed support in so many areas. So it was a very general VA type of position. And then around April of 2019, that's when I hired a video editor for YouTube. And that was when I realized, okay, I'm starting to really scale up my business. I went from working with people at the one-on-one level to now having a course and working with people one-on-one. So I had about 10 clients or so that I was working with one-on-one. And then I also had about 200 students enrolled in the first edition of my program, the Boss Graham Academy. And that's when I knew that I could not stay up till 3 a.m. anymore editing my videos. And so that's where I hired a video editor. And now I still work with the same video editor, and it's been awesome to really offload that because majority of my time spent, if I wasn't coaching clients and helping my students, I'd be editing videos until God knows when. And so I hired a video editor to offload that. And this video editor, Create and Elate, they do my videos and then they also do my teasers. So anytime I want to create a little snippet of the video and tease it on my Instagram or my Facebook, they create those. And then they also create my thumbnails as well. And so that's all done through them. Around June was when I hired an online business manager. That was when I realized, oh my goodness, now I have to work with people on the team, I have to manage, but then I also have to create content and I also have to help my students and I also have to keep the lights on and the engine running. And that's when I hired an online business manager. And what they do is basically they manage your business. And so what she did for me was I went from, communicating with people through Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp to all of a sudden this online business manager who had project management experience, who has, you know, been a VA for a while, she ended up helping me clean up my entire back end. So instead of WhatsApping my team members and like Facebook messaging people, she helped me put everything into Asana and create a Slack channel and really officialize a lot of the systems in my business. She ended up helping me with my SOPs and all of that. And you know, if you're interested in hiring a business manager, her name is Jen. Her website is right here. We don't work with her anymore, but she is amazing, especially if you are looking to really scale up your business. She helped me so much in just making my business more legit. And so that's Jen over there. August was where I hired another VA, a customer support, like specifically, or like admin. And this person would really help us, you know, with our customer support emails, would help us with our tech, just filling out spreadsheets, cleaning my email inbox and all of that. And her name is Angela, and she runs a business called The Systems RX. And so again, if you want to ever work with her, she's really niched down to now focus a lot on the system side of things. So that's what she does. And so we hired her, and that was really helpful because at that point in our business, we had so many customer service inquiries. We had so much volume of people, whether it was fan mail, hate mail, customer support, all those things flooding through, and she really helped us with that. And then eventually she helped us with our tech as well because she started niching down in her business. Then in September of 2019, that's when we hired Gravy. Gravy is a third-party company, and they actually help you with recovering your payment failures. So when you sell digital courses, you know, it's great that people are signing up for payment plans, but sometimes people might default on their payments. Maybe they will purposely take off their credit card or something, or maybe their credit card could expire and they can't pay. And so in business, like 10% of your revenue is going to be lost because of payment failures. And it's a lot of time and energy to literally follow up with people all the time to collect their payment. And so we hired Gravy, and they actually have a specialist work with us, and they're the ones that actually help our students get back on track with their payments, follow up, and escalate if necessary anyone who owes us money because they didn't fulfill the contract and didn't pay. And so by the end of 2019, I had a business manager, an admin VA, a video editor, and a payment failure specialist. That was the roster of like our key contractors of 2019. Now, obviously, we still have other people we work with like Brand Up or Content Bistro, like other people that are more on a project basis, but these are more of like the contractors that we really worked with on a recurring basis, like every day. They're part of our Slack channel, they're part of our team. I consider them a part of the team and all of that. So that was my 2019. And then in 2020, today, what my business looks like is it looks a little bit differently. Some of the people that I mentioned, you know, no longer work with us, and that's because we realized that over time, we couldn't really run the business with just contractors. And we were at a stage where we really needed full-time employees, doesn't work for anyone else, doesn't have other clients. They live in Canada because I'm a Canadian business, and it wouldn't have been possible to hire US contractors. It would have been possible, but it would have been a huge headache to try to like figure that out paperwork wise and all that. And so now we have a full Canadian team minus our video editor and minus people who are still contractors. We now have employees. So we now have a project manager. Her name is Alice. You probably would have seen her in my Instagram stories in the past. She is a full-time employee, and basically she manages the projects. She makes sure that everyone gets the things that they say that they're gonna get done actually done. She also puts me in check. So as you saw earlier in the vlog, like if I have a huge goal, Alice's responsibility is to actually break that goal down and tell me if it's truly feasible. She's like the eyes and ears of the company. So she actually knows what everyone else on the team is working on. Whereas right now I'm at a stage in business where like I really don't know what everyone else is working on. I'm more focused on creating content now, delivering an awesome program, and all those front end things. That's my zone of genius, whereas Alice's zone of genius is the back end stuff. We also have a customer support specialist. Her name is Kylie. What she does is basically, if you've ever emailed us through our channels, such as our emails, if you're a student of ours, you would have talked to Kylie definitely. So that's Kylie right there. She really takes care of our students. She takes care of any inquiries that come through. She manages the inboxes. She is responsible for making sure people are happy to our best ability in our inboxes, because obviously if you've ever worked in customer support, not everyone is happy with what you do and stuff, but she tries her best and she is awesome. We also have a community manager. So I mentioned that this was the same community manager, like my very first hire in business. Her name is Joyce. What she does is she manages our Facebook communities. She manages people who are already students of ours, whereas Kylie manages like all the external people before they become students and after they become students in our customer support emails. but Joyce really makes sure that our Facebook group communities are healthy. Anyone who is breaking any rules, you know, they get their warnings and all of that. She makes sure that everything is like amicable in our groups. There's no fights, there's no crazy stuff, and like everything is taken care of. Students feel helped, people are directed to the right resources in our program and all that. So that's what Joyce is responsible for as our community manager, and she's also full-time. Then we still have our video editor, Elena, who edited this video. She's awesome, and she's over at Create and Elate. And then we still have our payment failure specialist from Gravy, so we still work with them. And now we're obviously, as you saw from the vlog, we're hiring more and more people as we grow, and it's really exciting. We definitely need more people in our growth department because as of right now, I'm the only person doing our marketing and social media. We used to have social media specialists and all that stuff, but we're really looking for someone now to work full time for us and everything like that. Someone who's smarter than me. Someone who can like really bring in and tell me what I need to do in marketing so that I'm not the smartest person in this department. And that's kind of what I always aim for, is hiring people who really can bring their expertise to the table and elevate our business to the next level. I see that I've already blabbered on for 17 minutes, but I just know that a lot of people have so many questions about how my team is structured and all of that, and I just wanted to share that. Obviously, team structure is gonna change all the time as you grow in business. It's just inevitable. So the things that I say now is probably going to be obsolete in like 6 months. We're probably going to rearrange people, add more people to our team. We are very lean. We are a super lean team. Usually for businesses that are making, you know, the revenue that we're making, probably have double the amount of people that we do. So we have a lot of catching up to do, which is why, as you saw in our vlog in 2021, we are so focused on just hiring and really streamlining how we onboard and how we manage people who work for us, not just project-wise, but people-wise as well. Just wanted to share that with you guys, and that is really the behind the scenes, a little snippet of the behind the scenes of how we are currently planning for the future, and just a snippet of what it looks like beyond just me doing YouTube videos. I think a big misconception is people think that all I do is YouTube videos. YouTube and creating content is such a small part of what I do in this business. There's so many things that you guys don't see, and I really hope that this was enlightening for you. Now, I actually have a whole script of like other things that I was gonna mention, but because I noticed that this video is like very, very long, I'm actually gonna do another video answering this question. So I actually got a question from my Instagram DMs today about how my company really sets goals, how we plan the year and all that. Comment below, and if there's enough likes on this video, then I will consider doing a video all about annual planning and how you can manage your day better as not just an entrepreneur, but a solopreneur, or maybe someone with a team. I'm definitely down to do that, but I just want to make sure you guys are interested first. So comment below if you're interested in a separate video all about goal setting for your business and really like breaking down by quarters, by 30-day sprints, by, you know, weekly commitments, all those things, and I'll be happy to do that. Just like and comment below and let me know. But anyways, guys, as you wait for next week's video, I post a lot of videos on social media, marketing, and entrepreneurship, so definitely check out these 2 videos that I have right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing a glimpse of my life. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and a great life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys!